Yeah, I wanted to do some special effects. I'm sorry. I'm just here as the main caster, so I want to do some fancy stuff. Anyway, there's QG with my wonderful co-casting perfect
Man.
role model of a color caster. Everybody should be like this.
Oh, thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you. I could improve, but yeah.
There's always room to improve. Even
Yeah,
God is not perfect, so. And I mean, you are QG, so I mean that counts for something, right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah. Let's go from that.
So we will have a banger matchup now. Rift Sloths, the first place team, actually at the moment 5-0. They lost nothing, even though it was close sometimes. Playing against, and there are the not updated standing, but there are the standings actually. Oh no, they are even updated. Holy shit! I believed Rashid called us that we don't have updated schedules after the games, but we actually have. So really big props on the Regie actually. So we have Rift Sloss 5-0 against the Dynasty 2-3. But, and that's something important, Dynasty actually won the last 2 matchups. So they come into this game with like a big confident boost because they actually rocked it. They actually did everything. And on the meantime, like we had Rift against Aurora, and like you already talked about it. Rift lost kind of the early game, so they just a little bit. So they came back, and with that, they have maybe a little bump at the confidence level, and Dynasty maybe have a little up in the confidence level. So it could be interesting, and especially Humulu, my German ex-jungler of my own team. He is cracked. He is the most insane jungler you ever saw. So I hope we see a really cool matchup.
So, but the thing I want to also to add is Rift played a scaling comp, and they fell back early. Was kind of the idea, I think, of the whole thing. But I think Aurora played the early game perfectly, and the Rift couldn't answer, and they just answered with some scrappy fights. And I think they also did that last split where they won these scrappy fights and then took over the game from these scrappy mistakes of the enemy. And I think Dynasty has to take care of these scrappy things. And if they just do clean fights, well, there's never a clean fight, so the Sloths are almost ahead every time, because there's a small percentage that you can win the game from early game and not screw up a team fighting against the Sloths, but there's a big percentage, I think it's like this at the moment, if you screw up a team fight, they're just taking over. They're very strong in lane. Beacon is, I think, one of the best mid laners we have in the Division 2. I think he could also play in the Division 1 and also be one of the highest there. We have Lex, he plays for the Rift Sloth. I think it's his second year. He played in the Luxembourg tour for the Rift Sloths, and now he is still on the top lane for the Sloths. And yeah, and you see he's very into the team, and he's a stable player. You can always rely on him if you can, and it's just like the team is strong right now.
Yeah, definitely. And now we are in draft actually, and like at the moment, I believe that Pertinex definitely has to ban out Nico as well.
Dynasty.
Yeah, Dynasty. Dynasty needs to ban out Nico as well, because Nico first pick could be something. And now, it maybe for the first time, Kindred is open for Shredded. But now they just go for Maokai, because Shredded in solo queue is like the most insane Kindred and whatever player, but in competitive, he plays tank. I mean, he plays Kindred, Nocturne, Wukong, Jarvan, Kayn, and in competitive he plays Sejuani, Maokai. I mean, this guy is just forced to play tank every single game. but he does it well, and he still goes for the invade every single game. So Shredder just sticks to his playstyle, just swaps out the gun for like a hammer or something. Anyway, there's Varus for the
And-
Dark UniQ and Ari.
That's still 100% pick rate on Nautilus for Grizzon.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he also
sure,
has a 100% win rate on that, so.
Yeah. And I believe Adafla played some Jinx games as well, and even like Shredded played a lot of Maokai, so they just stick to their comp. They just know exactly how to draft with their players in mind, and I really like that.
Yeah, and also the Ari's picked up for Dynasty here. We'll see if it's a static shift Ari, we don't know. It's always a surprise. The Varus first pick is also interesting. There's still no Milio. The Milio is gone, but nobody wants to play Yumi. Even if she is that strong, I think you can probably hit her with every champ actually. And there's the Vi against.
The item got nerfed. She got nerfed. I believe only with Sari she's actually strong right now, and Sari got banned.
Sure?
So yeah, I'm pretty sure. 13.11. Yumi is dead. Maybe not dead, but with Sari maybe still strong. But she got a big banhammer.
Sona is still bugged and disabled with the Moonstone renewer, right?
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
But because if the bug would be fixed, I think she would be one of the next enchanters in the line, right?
Yeah,
because
maybe.
Of the AOE shields, enhancements, and everything. Oh, and therefore the disengage we have. Oh.
Yeah, but that's something I really like. Renata, especially against Nautilus and Maokai, like so many diving engaged champions, and Renata with her ultimate just gives so much disengage. So I really like that. We have the classic REY, so every single mid laner will suffer against this combo. We have Dark UniQ on one of his main champions, on Varus. We saw it last season as well a lot. And that could be the Kaiser mid lane against like the LeBlanc. It's one of her counters, and they could try to play it against Ari as well. But no, they just decide for Kragas. And no, they actually need AD top lane. I mean, normally I would see Lex on something like Quen most of the time.
Is he going for Renekton? Or Renekton or a Jax here? Maybe?
Yeah, Jax maybe, Irelia maybe.
Yeah, there's his Jax. Yeah. It's his comfort. It's one of his comfort picks, and he's really good at it. He carried one fight by just hitting the stopwatch, so we can just bait them with a stopwatch. He's really good at that also. And then now we see what will we go against the Jax. That's always something you need to consider. And yeah, they go for a tank for the Ornn. There's a lot of go buttons for Dynasty actually. This is
I mean, I would have liked to see like a skill matchup on top lane, just because Hazagi is one of the stronger top laners in our league right now. He definitely could go for those skill matchups, but especially at the moment they don't have really the biggest front line, so just getting a tank there makes some sense. But now they just drafted a losing top lane probably. Mid lane matchup is kind of good for both sides. I mean, that there should not really happen something, but Bukan can at least go for something because Ari is a little bit squishy. And then top lane,
The sustain of Gragas also got nerfed. The passive is on 12 seconds, not on 8. But the mana cost on the Q is down, so AP Gragas is healthier. His mana consumption is healthier in the lane, but not his health. So you can sustain a bit up with the Ari right there, and then we have the Jinx and the Varus. Jinx and Nautilus against the Varus and Renata, and Renata is really good against these champs that want to run into you, and I think this will be on-hit Varus here against all these bruises and tanks. It will be probably good. So to shield and buff up the Varus is Renata's place, but the lane could be decided on level 2. For the amount of pressure that the Nautilus puts out with the Jinx at level 2. So that will be, I think, the point we want to look at the first 2-3 minutes. And also the Varus doesn't have a dash if he goes Jinso, so the Nautilus ult will hit if he doesn't flash or get away somehow else with Blast Cone or something, but the Nautilus will hit really hard if he hits the Varus, and Jinx can just burst him down. It's going to be easy, really good for the sloths. So we will see how this pans out.
So who won the draft? Quick prediction. Who has the better one?
For scaling and go for the go buttons, like let's talk about that first. I think Dynasty won the go button. They have 4. Oh, it's a static shift, Ari, by the way. But Dynasty have the go button with the Ornn, Vi, Ari, and Varus. But I think for the whole team fight disruption and fighting potential, it's on the Rift side here. The Gragas who can interrupt these dashing champs, and also if the Varus has to be placed so good against a Nautilus and the Gragas and a Maokai and a Jax. This is hard. So I think Dark Unicorn is a really good player, and his positioning is always very good, but I think it will be hard for him to team fight here.
Yeah, and with that huge analysis, we go into the first invade of the game. Shredded just keeps doing what he normally does. They warded, maybe even spotted Vi, and now Shredded goes for the camp, but there's Vi as well. She gets a big shield, and Shredded might go down here because he can't really fight her. In the meantime, Dark Unicorn needs to get out of there, could flash over the wall, and there is. And now Creason maybe in trouble, but no, they can't really connect onto him. But that was not the best invade we see by Rift Sloth, just because, of course, Vi could just start it, and now Maokai needed to walk away, needed to do the walk of shame, basically. But they got at least the flash of Varus.
Yeah, they got the flash of Varus, and that's the whole point. If you don't have flash against the Nautilus, what are you doing on level 2? The pressure is even... It's up even more. How do you want to... Yeah, they're pushing out. There's the hook. There's the E. Hook. There's the damage. And there's 100% first blood.
Oh, they flashed behind her, and in the end, it's just first blood, like you said. Dafla just getting crap lords there, and that was a good one by the bot lane of Rift.
Yeah, and there you see the experience of Grizzon, who played here and there, and he just probably shot called everything here. And you see what he does with the Nautilus. He controls every fight, every engage, and also he controls the lane here. And I think it's really hard to play against that if you're a newish player, someone with that much experience. It's going to be really hard.
Yeah. In the end, it's just the first blood, but it's first blood on Jinx, it's first blood on Dafla, so that's definitely something Dynasty needs to keep in mind. So don't fight this Jinx if she gets her power spike a little bit faster than you. But it's not lost yet, and they have, of course, a really good engage to maybe get this Jinx in every single team fight if they play it correctly, because they have just a long range engage with Ornn ultimate into like the chain CC of Vi and of Ari, of course. So it could be a rough one for Dafla as well, like with Dark Unicorn. So many engage ults, so many things he needs to play around. So both ADCs could have a troublesome time at least. And Umulu tries to go for something, or at least he is there to maybe look for something if there would be an aggressive play by Creason, and he just wants to cover up this push so that they can just finish the wave into the turret, maybe get the first reset in. So that was an important little shattering by Humulu, and now he even goes base as well, just to get to his top side, because there are at least cracks, but now he sees that Birds got stolen away, so he needs to make the walk into his bot side jungle.
Yeah, and there's also Cloud Dragon coming up, and there's maybe a hook landing the flashes out. That's I think Risen almost controlling everything, people flashing here and there just because he roams and is present. The Rift supporter here who really controls this early game.
And we see a really interesting item, rune choice, by the way, by Hazaki in the top lane with the Comet. So there is like one way to play it with Cresp, of course, but because of the Counter-Strike and because it's probably a losing matchup, you don't want to go for those auto-attack trades anyway. So there's actually some Orns who play Comet in this matchup, and it has the higher win rate than Cresp. So that's actually a good way, and just a sneaky tech choice there by Hazaki. Oh no, they try to go on Ardafla, but there comes the chain. Oh, they flashed over the chains. It was so well played by Humulu, and in the end they get the kill. Reason can just walk out of there, and they even got the cleanse. And now there's a little mid lane team fight, but nothing really happens. And with that, just one kill for both ADCs.
Yeah, and very nice flash from Humulu to jump over the chompers there to get the Jinx. That's not that easy. I always fail it. But these pinpoint flashes are really hard, and that's also the first dragon for Dynasty here, and it will be a champ tag next. And also the scuttle crab for Humulu. Very nice gang. He waited also a long time on the bot lane and finally got something. That's also very important if you wait and don't waste your time that much. That's really important.
Yeah, but so far so good for both teams. Just a small gold lead because of top lane, especially. Just a lot of farm difference there. Hazaki getting some farm at least back with this little freeze, so he could deny some creeps, he might get some creeps more. Freezing always helps to bounce back a little bit, but of course it makes you more vulnerable to tower dives and stuff, but he is on, so he is pretty safe, and probably Shredded will never ever gank this top lane, so it's just weak side, but with no attention from both sides probably.
And also you see the Warden's mail, also very defensive. He doesn't want to push the wave with the Sunfire, but just be win these trades with the passive of the Warden's mail. And yeah, the Jax is not that easy to figure out. I think the Comet choice is also very good for just poking out, but here we see Beacon just ulting out to disrupt Frankie.
Yeah, it's kind of like with Annie's, just throw tippers for poke, and Bukan just tries to throw out his bottle for poke, because then Frankie never has the health pool to really go into it. And of course, at the moment the trades are not that good because he builds this static, so he basically has some auto attack power, but not like the power up abilities. And with that, every single trade is probably favored to Bukan at the moment. And so he tries to get something out of this lane at the moment, because after shift, probably Frankie is a little bit stronger.
Yeah, Frankie can just clear the wave pretty fast, so that's also the thing the static fish shift provides. But I just checked every rune, and I see a Vi with lethal tempo, and I didn't know it was a thing. Yeah, but this looks, for this game, it looks really good.
For melee champions.
Yeah.
So and definitely a good idea. Now Vi goes in to Ardafla. Ardafla still has flash, so they might get out of there, but Kreesen is just a sacrificial lamb, so he will die there. And in the end, it's just the second kill for Dark Uni Q.
There's Shredded coming with the ult.
Oh, they try to go for the roots, but they don't land.
And it is also a very beautiful Maokai skin. Oh, there's the engage from Beacon and
so
Kenny.
close.
No!
But
so
just the health, and of course the auto attack heals him, the ability heals him, so it was just enough sustain for Frankie there to survive it.
yeah, and there was also the Spirit Rush still on cooldown, not on cooldown for Frankie, so he could dash away if it was needed. Also has the flash again. But the Varus Q there, it really hurts. Grizzon just got bursted down from like 30% to 0. So it's also 2 kills for the Varus. And we know that Dark Unique Q is a really good AD carry. He carried in the last split almost every game they won when they picked him up. Because I think he came in a bit later than the other ones. And since then he's the menace that we have.
Yeah. I remember so many Frankie Dark Unique Q games on Sari, for example. So he was just a really good ADC in the league. And it's good to see him back with Dynasty in the second split. And of course Frankie as well. The 2 standing members of a Spring Split are still here. It's kind of like with other teams, right? With Lex and Puka and Rift, so they as well stayed with 2 of their members. So the league changed a little bit, but not on all lanes. Anyway, next Drake is on the table. It's of course the Gemtech Drake. Shredded is on his way. Y of course as well, and Y especially now with ultimate has something to do. Their bot lane, they might go for it, and she gets. So in the end, they get the knockup, they get the damage, but there's a good flash coming out from Adafla. Now you can just try to hit this Y big knockup there, and Y can't be saved. And in the end, it's just a really good meltdown there. Both tanks are just strong enough to destroy those squishies. They get Creason, but lose Trap Lord. In the end, I think it's a 2 for 3 or something. So really well played by Rift Slots, who got engaged but turned it around.
Yeah, that's the Rift Herald on bot side, and also the Dragon. Probably for the Rift Sloths, if they are fast enough, they will take 3 platings here. Not with 2. And Frankie, who made it a 2 for 3. At the end, Dark Unique got a kill again, so he's also enabled a bit, so it was kinda worth it for the Dynasty here, because the 2 kills on Shredded aren't that important than the other 2.
Oh, that's
That's a fight.
It's kind of a fight there on the top lane, but Azagi even tries to go for the kill, but in the end it's just flash for flash. He could have knew that, but he just wanted to fight that, and he even tried to go for the proxy farming, but then Lex showed up, and in the end he tried to solo him, but nothing really happens. And Drake did not got beaten down, so Humulu is near Drake. They don't know that there's a ward yet, so they just pull it out against Shredded, and now it could be a dragon flip because Adafla is there, Creason is there, and of course Shredded. Dark Unique Q joins the frame, and now
Lex
even
doesn't have
Hazaki is
TP.
there, so they might go for something, but he has not the Call of the Forge God. Drake goes down to Shredded, but there comes a double knockup from Kazagi. Now they try to fight it, but they can't really get into there. There comes the big knockup from Creason, but in the end, really good played there with the hook. And nobody dies. And now the teleport from Hazaki on the top lane. So just a lost Drake for Dynasty.
Wow, what happened? The buffers everywhere. Nobody died after a clean disengage from the Rift Sloths here. And there's probably a ganked up bot. No, Humulu just got spotted by a ward. And I saw that Frankie missed the charm on, I think it was Grizzin. And if you would hit that charm, it would be a whole different story right there. And that's really unfortunate for Dynasty. They could really get something out of this dragon, some gold for the Varus, but they actually didn't.
Yeah, and now we have the first power spikes, the Rage Blade, the Static, of course the Divine Thunderer, and some others like the Black Cleaver. There could be now the gang from Shredded onto the bot lane that try to get Crabclaw, and in the end they will get him probably, but there's Sumulu and he tries to flash onto Adafla and they get the kill with the arrow. So in the end it's 1-for-1, but Humulu once more, he is hungry, but there comes the teleport now and the hook misses. There comes the second teleport, so both mid laners are in the picture, but nobody will engage, so nobody will die.
Yeah, and we also knew that Lex didn't have TP for the dragon. That was also a point that I wanted to point out. So the top TPs are not at the mid laner TPs, they are not on sync. That will, so Lex has TP advantage right now for at least a few seconds. And there's the engages. I don't think that you can kill him, but
they try. There comes the knockup, but in the end Azaki needs to play a little bit safe, and there, just a rocket, and it drops.
Just a rocket.
It's just a kill, and it was, I mean, even Lex could have killed him there probably with the next jump and with the next auto attack combo, so it was risky in any way of shape. But in the end, Adafla just gets a kill delivered from his top laner, but they might lose the bot lane tower world.
Yeah, but I think it's worth it for Adafla to get these long-range rockets in and get the kill. I think. Oh, this is going to be.
There's the flag from Buchan, really good barrel, and in the end, it's just 2 kills for Adafla. It's a double kill for him. So this man is on a mission to carry his team to victory.
There's the next Rift Herald in the mid lane, and you see what I talked about was these scrappy fights that the Rift Sloths are looking for. There was one of these, and if you win the early game and you get your AD carries ahead, there's always the Rift special with the... or not?
Yeah, they try to go for something. There comes the roots, but in the end it's just a face rush. Maokai was just fast enough to run out, and there was not really an engage option. Humulu wasn't there. The Call for Forge God wasn't there, so no big trouble for Shredded, just walking out as the tree he is.
Yeah, and you see that the Riftsofts are taking care of their scrappy things. Also got the dragon, the red buff here, and there's the damage against Hasaki from Beacon.
He tries to follow here, but Hasaki, he can't really get out as the Call of the Forge God. So he might have enough damage, but now it's just the AP Kragas. It was close. I think with the Call of the Forge God reactivation, he could have even solo killed him there. But in the end, the Beacon was just strong enough.
Yeah, the reactivation got cancelled by the Gragas E, so he couldn't do it. So there was no possibility for Hasaki to win this fight against Beacon. And now you see everything is rolling out. The Riftsloths are ahead 6k, and the bounty system is in, and we probably see an engage here.
Oh, they tried to go for something there. There comes the big ultimates, and in the end they get at least 1 kill. Frankie might get another. No, it goes down for Dark UniQ, but in the end they even lose Dark UniQ, so it's now a 3v4. What can Rift do there? Hasagi tries to go for a knockup, but can't get it, and now Adafla maybe tries to chase them down, especially with Buchan. If he gets the next reset, he can fight that, but nothing is really happening. And on the flip side, Lex is even on the sideline, so he might get the tier 2 turret for nothing.
And he got it for nothing, for free. The Riftsloths are so strong at these again, at these scrappy fights, these little team fights when they're back, the Dark UniQ got kills, but he got instantly shut down with a nice explosive barrel from Beacon to disrupt his movement, and then he just got killed.
Yeah, and just think about it. If you look at the gold lead, I mean, it's just 6k up, and it's just 10 to 7. Normally, as a team, you just see the kill lead, and you think, yeah, it's 10 to 7, so you might are strong enough to still fight. But no, you just aren't. I mean, it's just 6k gold, and you will not get ahead, not get back in time probably, because Baron is now on the table, and you have a really fat Jinx, so you can probably with all your tanks just rush it down. Oh no, Humulu may be in trouble, and if he dies, that could be the Baron. The roots come out, and there goes Humulu down. He tries to get in range for something, but he's just dead, and now Adafla with the resets just gets one, maybe even gets Scrap Lord. No, it's not enough, but they can just go for the turret, and after that probably for the Baron, because Humulu is dead, and with him it's a free Baron.
Yeah, and that's the engage from Shredded, and hit 3 people with the Maokai ultimate, and then they just followed up with the catch of Humulu there, and that's the Baron for the Sloths, and probably also the Hextech Dragon for them too. They now go back, reset, and then we probably have the next fight, and Varus ult is up, the Ornn ult and the Ahri ult, so Dynasty is ahead, and they also started the dragon.
Yeah, so they could just get Drake and go out. It would be Drake for Baron. That's not really worth it, but at least they get a Drake. So Dynasty with a little heist there, at least getting something out of this miserable position they are at the moment.
Yeah, at attack speed and ability haste make your DPS stronger, especially for the champs you have like Ahri, Varus, and Vi are good with both stats. Can hit the static shift better with the Ahri. And also for Varus, it's not that much, but above is above and you take it. But you now have to fight against these Baron buffed minions, and at this point you don't have that much wave clear right now because the minions are defended, like buffed.
Yeah, Baron buff is really huge. Now they try to just go for this top lane turret, but Humulu goes in, but he gets snared. In the end, he gets into the backline, but he's just a Vi without a lead, so he just dies. And in the backline, there's Jax, and he is really, really strong now, even goes into the Sonya, so in the end, he just survives. They get at least 1 kill back, double kill even, triple kill even. I mean, they get a lot of kills actually, and now Frankie is on the hunt, so they might go for something, but no, it's just enough damage by Adafla. So it's a 3 for 3, but that was a good base defense by Dynasty. In the end, I mean, they lose probably this whole base, but they still defended it well with a 3 versus 3.
Yeah, and Adafla probably critted on a Kraken Slayer stack there against Frankie, and Frankie didn't expect the damage. Probably thought he had more in his own pocket. But you can just dodge the static shift proc with the E of the Jax. And now Lex finished the Sonya Sourglass, and this is the point where Lex just goes off and does what he wants.
Yeah. And you see that there's a big problem for Dynasty at the moment in those team fights, because usually Ahri, and especially with Ornn as engaged, is good enough to really threaten the backline, but there are just 3 tanks in front of that, and then of course a backline diver with Jax. So in the meantime, while Humulu is maybe ulting Adafla, nobody can really follow, because there's so much CC, there are so many frontliners that nobody can really get to Adafla, and then just Humulu is alone in the dark versus 4 people and probably dies. And on the meantime, Lex in the backline, there are no frontliners, there are just squishy targets. so Jax can always jump in and maybe trade 1-for-1, maybe 2-for-1. So at the moment, those teamfights are really, really hard to play front to back for Dynasty, and it's really easy for Rift to actually win those team fights. Now the second inhib, the third inhib turret actually wants to fall. No, just a second. They already used 2 big ultimates, so Dynasty maybe is now strong enough to defend it. But it's just a question who tries to engage first. Tumulu at least channels the ultimate, so he tries something. Maybe, maybe not. No, Lex can't really get to the turret, but he trades really good at the moment against Kazagi. It's just a lot of damage, and those turrets will just wriggle down one by one, slowly but surely. Dynasty is in a huge, huge trouble at the moment.
Yeah, how is it called?
Oh, they try to engage on the Duffler. He's at the moment at least alone. There's the Ari combination, but they can't really kill him now. He is dead. And on the meantime, at least Jax gets the inhib turret and maybe even the inhib, but they lose the team fight at the moment. And no, Lex can't go for the inhib. So Rift Slots just lost a big team fight. And do you know why? Because there was just nobody defending Radafla. I mean, you could see that there was just a clear path for Ari to dash to Radafla, and then Y was just alone with him. So that was the best opportunity to engage Radafla, and they used it and they got it, and with that they won a team fight.
Yeah, if the Vi is on Adaflar and Adaflar already used the Gale Force in the Assault and Battery, you are just going to die, I think, if you don't have Flash.
Oh no,
because you're not fast
They
enough.
didn't clear the wards. There could be a double teleport on this control ward from behind, but they don't want to use it now. They just teleport in front of them. There comes the root, there comes the jump into it, and they will not lose. They will not gain this Drake in the end. Dynasty gets the third Drake of the game, but they lost Tumulu, and with that a big engage opportunity. So now the big question is, can you defend your base 4 versus 5?
Yeah, they don't need to push. They just waited 10 seconds for the Baron. Humulu is not fast enough to steal it, and this is just going to be a free Baron for the Rift Sloths with the fight of the dragon here. And this is free.
Yeah, it's a free Baron. Baron, of course, helps to push down those inhibitors, but actually, as long as Dynasty finds a good engage on Jinx, and if they win the teamfight fast enough, this Baron isn't like too insane, as long as Lex isn't split pushing on the sideline with it. So Dynasty still, and even though they are 8k behind, still have some chances to maybe get into the game, especially with Soul. And now those on items even come in. At least the first mythic or the second mythic even got upgraded, so Hazaki still needs 2 more levels to buff everybody. But those on items all are roughly worth 1000 gold. So with all 5 you kinda get 5000. Now at the moment it's just 3k. So they are not behind too much, but they are still like 5k, 6k behind even with all items. So it's still tough, but they showed us that they still know how to be in the game and how to survive and how to fight. So that could be quite a banger late game, actually.
Yeah, but the next 2 mythic enhancements are not the best. It's only a bit of stats. I think the Everfrost anti-Ginzors are worth it more, and you see that I think it wouldn't change that much.
They try to engage on Lex. They get a good engager, but lose all of their ultimates, and there's just the Sonya, so they will just probably lose bot lane turret for that. And that was not really worth because of Flash and Sonya, so they tried their best to defend the split pusher, but no, they have no ults left in the tank, and now there's the engage of Rift Slots. The question is, can they still win a team fight, or will they just overrun by the Rift Slots? Hazaki already is in base, so they have no front line left. Frankie needs to dash away, and that's the second, and that's the third inhibitor. So all inhibitor fall from Dynasty, and now they can just play with the super minion. They can just play with the cannon minions. They have so much siege potential. No ults left. The first Nexus Tower will fall, and Dynasty needs to go for something. Humulu still has ultimate, so they try to at least engage someone, but Lex is tanky and they can't really win the team fight right now. Just they fall as little flies, and this team fight is over. Double kill for Jinx already. Could be a triple, could be a quarter, but no, in the end it's just a double for Bukan, and Dark UniQ goes down by Creason, and that's the ace, and that's the clean ace, and that's just the 6th win in a row by Riftstone.
Yeah, and that's the point. Lex did it again on the Jax. He got all the attention from the whole team. They just push him as 5, and he just does what? He hits the counter strike. He hits the hourglass. He flashed and jumps over the wall with a ward, and he took so the team could take out the bot turret and just roll through the team fight. There was no pressure. They had the time of their life, and they just ended the game like that. With SLOTHS did it again with Lex, with the bait top lane split push.
Yeah, wonderfully played. And with that, just to tease you what you can expect for our next match, it's full clear against Next. And with that, see you soon. We're going into a little break and see you with the third game of the evening in just a couple of minutes.